Okay, I'm not a poet, but I wore this hat to fool you guys. I'm going to read 4 poems. The first two I wrote years ago. Anyway, the river. The plane comes in low over cornfields, knee-high by the 4th of July. I see the river, my dirty brown beacon. I grew up in 2 states, my mom in Arkansas and dad in Illinois, always near the mighty Mississippi. On warm spring days, Mom took us sliding down the levee on borrowed pieces of cardboard, sledding without snow. Jumping off the bridge in Illinois, a splash in the summer sun, the same bridge where Randy drowned. It takes what it wants, the river. Catching channel cat for dinner in the brisk fall air, if we caught a carp, would give it to old Leroy from across the tracks. The brutal northern Illinois winter, the one force that overpowers the river, blankets it with ice and covers it in snow. Then the joyous day when spring arrives, the lifeless river wakes up, breaks through the ice, seeks its revenge. Show of strength, reclaims its dominance, floods the barren fields, and towns too poor or proud to build levees. Once I was old enough to drive, there was no emotion too big or ugly that a drive to the river wouldn't cure. A walk along its shore, watching barges pass, searchlights swaying back and forth, on the lookout for danger. Until my early 20s, I never lived more than a few miles from the river. Then for many years, saw it only from a plane. Used to, when I'd fly across country, suddenly I'd have the urge to raise the plastic window just in time to see the scrawling brown water that I intuitively knew to be there. Over the years, I lost this connection, this superpower. Living so far out west, my river no longer calls. I miss her voice. And this one was one of the ones I wrote long ago, and then something happened, and I added a few more stanzas. I'll let you know when I get to that point. A Sunday cookout in my honor. Everyone comes except the one brother in prison. Again, we pretend he doesn't exist. Humidity chokes the hot air outside as locusts, aka cicadas, sing their lonely song looking for someone to fuck. Because they can't smoke in the air-conditioned house, we're packed out inside Dad's garage. The open door invites flies who hop from pop to pop and beer to beer. My plump Midwestern family smile. They're happy to see me. I instead cringe each time they say he don't, she don't. Dirty fingernails light generic cigarettes with cheap lighters stolen from one another. Mine's black, so's mine, bull fucking shit, said through floss or rotten teeth, depending on age. I make jokes, light, surfacey, and talk about LA, a foreign land they know from TV. I invite them to visit because I know they won't, because they scrounge change to buy smokes. My biggest fear never leaves me. My insides match their outsides. Donned with Velcro strap sneakers and boxy Walmart jeans, bad haircuts and double chins, favorite NASCAR driver t-shirts stained with pops spilt from 64-ounce refillable cups. I was plucked from this land plagued with meth and mosquitoes. Dirty trailers infested with roaches and down-and-out kin who sleep on filthy carpets scattered with black circles of old gum, more difficult to get rid of than the roaches. I got away. Why me? It's by some fluke twist of fate that I don't sit in a flimsy lawn chair trying to borrow rent money from an uncle visiting from LA. Luck of the draw that I'm not driving a clunky, rusted-out Dodge bought from a tote-your-note lot because my credit is so bad. I see my dad, missing a front tooth, lost in a bar fight many years ago, still uncomfortable in his loose skin, walking towards me. Breadcrumbs in his ZZ Top beard, he reaches out and gives me the regional one-arm hug. Welcome home, son. Welcome home. So that's where it used to end. And then something happened, and you'll see. September 19th, 2021, a ping from 23andMe. The email told me who I am, or rather who I'm not. I learned my dad wasn't my dad. Nothing changed, yet everything changed. I look back over my life like watching The Sixth Sense the second time. Finally, it made sense. I made sense. I am not a fluke. Now I know why I'm the one who got away. And this is called Odd Couple. A sibling promise, don't tell Dad. A secret held tight until a sister, brave from her vodka, told him the truth. My DNA didn't match. I wasn't his son. Rage so strong, pointed at my mom, an 80-year-old man adrift in his pain. On Facebook, she'd comment on a post of a great-grandchild, and he'd respond in public, "Why did you lie to me, Rowena?" A name she hated. She went by Diane. We blocked my mom from his Facebook. Bullet dodged. I've always regretted his son because I remembered the chaos called my childhood. When whiskey touched his soul, he raged in our halls, made holes in our walls, and I remembered it all. He did not remember those nights, thanks to his blackouts. Lucky, I'd welcome that amnesia with open arms. I carried the heavy shame of being his son, afraid your judgment transferred to me. That time in Ohio, I was on location with an LA crew. I offered he and his wife a room at our fancy hotel. I walked them across the lobby with their luggage cart, filled with Mountain Dew, cheap luggage, and her Depends diapers in plain sight. A crew member joined us in the elevator. "That your parents?" he asked. I wanted to run, to hide, to not be by his side. The time I took a friend to meet my family, afterwards in my faded red Accord, as we pulled away from their house, with old tires leaning against the broken fence, a dog chained to a cinder block, he asked, "How did you come from that?" That was the day we stopped being friends. I buried the shame in an airtight box deep down in my gut, but I didn't say a word. Though in my head, I screamed at him, "I can say that, but you're not allowed." Before my DNA discovery, I lived far away from my dad. My visits were infrequent, and I rarely rang him at all. But after my sister exposed Mom's secret, I called him every few days to say hi and see if he was okay. He lived in the Corn Belt, and I in LA, this odd couple thrown back together because of this newly found truth. And our relationship began to change. Before, our conversations were basic: weather, Iowa, and hatred of Trump. But something started to shift. We began to speak with emotional depth. A confession to me about the time he had to walk down to another man's trailer. "Can you tell Diane to come home? I need to go to work, and the kids will be alone." No wonder he drank. I understood the hole in his heart. A volcano erupted in reverse. Warm, glowing liquid filled this once empty space as we shared our truth. I wasn't his son, and he wasn't my father, and we got to tell each other it didn't matter. And when I got that call, "It doesn't look good, can you make it home tonight?" My heart leapt in my throat, and a thought appeared in my head. The thought, my dad's dying. Because I wasn't sure that's how I felt. Wasn't sure I considered him my dad. My dad's dying confirmed I did. Since he's gone, my perception has changed. Or is it perspective? I get them confused. The shame is gone because he is not my mirror. I did not come from him. I now see him as a man, a human. Flawed, yes, but a man who was kind enough to raise a son he always doubted was his. And this last one is called Missing Pieces. As fate would have it, I've wound up with two sisters named Tammy. Tammy with a Y and I grew up on gravel roads, trailer parks, and projects. From tinted windows of Greyhound buses, we watched the transition from cotton fields to cornfields as we shuttled from parent to parent. We thought we were full siblings. Tammy with an I grew up with three sisters in their own chaos. Their dad, our dad, kept having kids because he always wanted a son. He drank himself to death, never knowing he had one. Tammy with a Y isn't curious about the world. She never did well in school, never been on a plane. She's never even seen the ocean. We have nothing in common. Tammy with an I is charming, funny, a business owner who's traveled the world. Her husband says I'm the male version of her. We loved each other deeply, immediately. The sister I never knew I needed. Her family welcomed me with open arms. When they found me, her daughter Morgan said, "It's like there's another piece of Grandpa walking around. He's not gone." Zooming, meeting my new sisters for the first time, talking about careers, genetics, centimorgans. My wife, not named Tammy, watched in awe. Afterwards, she came over to me with misty eyes and said, "You finally found your missing pieces."